to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so tell our audience what you're running for.
City Council District 3, and right now I am elected to the school board.
Oh.
Fresno Unified School Board.
That's really cool.
Yes,
School board trying to, I like that.
Yeah, so I've been there for the last 8 years. So this is my second term finishing up. It's been a great pleasure being a school board member. It really has. We've created policies and done things to help kids in the longevity, and it's been amazing.
What a switch.
Well, yes and no. I get to go from working with my babies to working with adults and babies, right?
I mean, I like that you have the experience. I'm trying to remember the last time I met somebody that went from that to that. I think it's great because you have the experience.
Yeah, it was never an intention. It was never an intention. My intention was to stay there until I felt like I had trained somebody and I was done. And honestly, this city council race, I couldn't put my finger on a candidate that I would completely support and that would do what's right for D3. No one's done what's right for D3.
And you know that because you've lived there and you're already serving on that board, so you're like, okay, because do you work with the board a lot? I mean, the school board work with the city council often?
Not
really?
often. We have
once in a while.
Yeah, we have common issues like safety. Transportation.
So once in a while when you needed to call on someone,
you might get some help, maybe.
So that's why you kind of knew, where you're like, there's nobody I stand with. So who are you running against?
So, wow. You know what? There are 7 other candidates and I'm the only important one.
I'm trying to guess. Can you give me any, might have to look this up. I'm trying to think about who.
Okay, so Joaquin Arambula, who is the assembly member.
Yeah.
Fernando Alvarez, he is a former school board member for West Park School District. And then there are a few others.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So what made you decide, hey, I know you said that you're the best one for the job and nobody else would do it, but it is still a big undertaking. So what made you decide that now's the time to do this?
That's what made me, well, not necessarily them. Well, it is.
But it's a big personal undertaking to say, hey, I'm going to do this. It is a big personal
undertaking, but so is being a school board member. I have lived in District 3 for probably 90% of my life. Wow. That's where I've bought my homes, 93722, down here down in Tower. I bought a home there. I've bought a home in West Fresno. So this is where I live.
It is nice to have someone that really understands the district. You know what I mean?
I went to school in the district. There's nothing, my grandparents had businesses in the district, so there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to make great decisions on behalf of us that come from here, live here, and have seen the struggles. I believe that there's really it's time for us to have some infrastructure. Do you know that we don't have a pharmacy anymore? Rite Aid closed. We no longer have a pharmacy. The grocery store is at best a 2.
Where is a grocery store?
It's Food Max. But at best a 2. On some Sundays, I go in there to go shopping, and the line is so long, I will leave the cart there and tell them there's perishables and leave. There is no reason why there's one space that doesn't have all the necessities. We don't have a bank.
Really?
Nope. No banks. They finally put in an EECU teller, but we don't have any banks. Bank of America moved out, and
wow.
Yeah. So.
Where have I been? When did that happen? When did Bank of America move out?
Oh my gosh. It's been at least COVID-esque. So 2020, between 2020 and 2022.
Man, it was that long ago since I was there.
Right.
That's right. I didn't even know that.
And I just feel like, people after the redlining, people just kind of forget, we're going to do this, we're going to build there, we're going to do that. We have more than enough places out here in District 3 to build homes. We do have the West Creek coming to Southwest Fresno, which is going to be an amazing development. We have the college. There's no reason why we shouldn't be feeding into Southwest and downtown and making it better.
Right.
And preserving, and I'm not going to forget Tower. We want to preserve Tower. We want to make sure it looks like the best of the best. You know, do you ever go to Old Town in Vegas, and you go to Old Town and they have things happening, but all the lights are lit and it's so beautiful and wonderful, and there's all these businesses, but our businesses in Tower are not always flourishing. Our businesses in downtown have a really hard time. I've seen a few people close over the last 3 or 4 years, just shut down. So is that really fair to us and our economy?
I mean, my biggest thing is the safety. When you said the safety, I mean, twice, you know, I got in my car, like broken into, in the district. So it's just kind of like, and I know that it was at one time, like, you know, the place you want to be. So I you know, and it does get very. What are you going to do about that?
I'm so into safety, you know.
What can you do, though? Because I think a lot of times people expect you to do everything when you are in that seat, and you can't. So what steps are you actually going to take?
Well, the first thing is you have to have a partnership. One thing that I pride myself on is, even though I may not get along with everybody on the school board, we still make the best decisions together for the best of our kids. You know, that's the first thing that we have to take into account. And what we also did is we stopped saying, this is my area, this is your area, this is, you know, we went on a needs assessment.
I hate when people say that.
Right?
That's not my job.
This is mine. It's like,
yes, oh my gosh.
We literally did a needs assessment.
That's awesome.
So if we do a needs assessment to see where we can put housing and where we can build up places and where we can get people to move in, then that'll be something different. And I can't say I can't do that all by myself. I need people to agree with me. I need the mayor to be agreeable. And we need to just do this and do right by the whole city.
Why have things gotten this bad? And it's like over time, because it was like every year it's like weirder and weirder. Why are things getting like this?
Because what we do is we build out. And then what happens? Everybody goes to Cezanne, and everybody goes to River Park, and everybody goes, you know, everybody goes somewhere else. But we're not feeding into us. I can't think of a nice place to go downtown. There's 1 or 2, you know, clubs, which are, you know, nice. They're okay. But can you think of a great restaurant that you can go to on the weekends down here? A high-end restaurant. You know, we used to have Club One. And Club One moved. That took away a lot of the life down here.
Right.
Because there was a lot of life with Club One. I wish there had been an agreeable...
that is a good point, because that's when things did start to go south. Right.
Yeah, I wish there was an agreeable term for Club One to stay, but unfortunately it wasn't. And you know, Kyle is doing amazing things out there on Dakota, and it's building. You know, it's brought life back into that little small area. You know, Cedar, Dakota, where Vaughn's used to be, and now there's Vallarta, and then you have, you know, Me and Ed's, you have this, you have that, you have the ballpark. So you have, you know, you've brought life back into what was not a flourishing area.
So how are we going to bring life back in here?
There you go.
Because we do still have something. There are a lot of great things that are happening in the tower. I mean, with, like, you know, because there's still like
minimizing.
Because we just did the Porch Fest and all that stuff like that. So there's a lot of good.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Did you go?
I wasn't able to go. I covered it though before that. I ended up having to do a stint at the rodeo for that. I wanted to go so bad. Hey, either way, I was going to be outside, and the weather was terrible both places, but I would have done it.
Let me tell you, it ended up great. So we got some electric bikes from the chamber across the street. We got some electric bikes, and people were riding the electric bikes down there from porch to porch. And, you know, because what people don't understand, if they've never been to Porch Fest, it is such a big area to cover. You not only have Tower, but you have over by Fresno High.
So you really need those bikes.
The bikes were awesome. I literally pulled up in the truck because we were just donating. And I pulled up in the truck, and as soon as I pulled up, I was dropping them off to people who had already requested them. And these other people come rushing the truck, and I had 4 extra bikes left on the truck, and I was just like, here you go. You don't even have to sign up or anything. Just here you go. Go have a good time. Meet me back here at this time, and I let them go. But it was amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
They did. They want to come back and do it again. You know, so, you know, that's part of just being community. You know, and the other reason why I always say I'm good for this, because I'm already doing the work. I'm already 10 toes down in the community. It's never stopped. I'm already doing city councilwoman.
It's true. You're already doing it. You might as well get the credit. No, that's very true.
So funny story. One day I'm at home, and I come out of the house, and, you know, I'm getting into my car, and this guy goes, "Hey, Miss Thomas, I need help. I said, okay, what do you need? I need help with my water bill and my PG&E bill. I said, what? And so, it's funny the questions that people ask me, or help that's needed, or, just whatever. There's a lot of things that people need and they come to me for, and I just try to figure out a way to make it happen.
That's so funny.
Speed bumps, that's not my job, but hey, we need speed bumps on this street because of whatever is happening, and you know what? Let's figure out how to get some speed bumps. And I got the speed bumps in, and that's over by Computech Middle School. Another lady called me. I love this story because she knew I was running for city council. And she says, I've been calling down to the city. These dogs and cats keep dying in my yard, whatever, because there's dogs attacking our cats. And kids are walking to school seeing the corpses of the cats. And so I go over to her house and I kind of inspect and see what's going on, and nobody shows up. I made a call and I told them if it wasn't done within an hour, I was coming back to do it myself. Like, I knew where to take it after I was done, but the point is that you come out for your community no matter what that looks like. If you got to put on your sweatpants and go outside and take a shovel and a bag and go take care of some stuff, sometimes that's just what you have to do. And I'm willing to do that work.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really cool. So part of it, you'll bring some life back into the tower.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited about that. But honestly, next Friday, I am going to do a sit down with some younger folk, because we always think we know what needs to be done, but we never talk to people who are up and coming. So I'm doing an 18 to 30 sit down conversation over at Cocky's Bar and Grill. And they're sponsoring part of it because they want to hear this conversation as well. What are you all looking to happen in Tower Theater? I'm not going to come in and say, not Tower, in downtown. I'm not the one that's going to say I have all the answers. I literally want little groups of people that can help me with some of this information, because I don't live in Tower anymore. How can I say what Tower needs? I need for people in the community to come out and help me make those decisions. I don't want to be the Lone Ranger. Yeah, I want to be Wonder Woman.
So when people are saying let's bring some life back, and there are some businesses that are popping up, and my cousin just opened up a bar at the Electric Olive. So I know that there are things happening, but what else kind of needs to happen so we can bring energy in there?
Well, I think the art hops have been awesome, right? But what else can we bring to the art hops? Besides, people jumping around bar to bar or whatever, people want, from my discussions with people that live downtown, they want activities. They want, like, what do they have? The hatchet throwing, or what do you call the?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, they want fun stuff that they can do, and they don't actually have to go to a bar to get it done. They just want to have a good time.
Something more family friendly.
Something more family friendly and fun for ages who live in this area.
That's true.
I just I believe that we can bring the life back. It's gone up, and it's a roller coaster sometime, but your downtown should be the heart of your city. Anywhere you go, this should be your heart.
And then there was like an incident in Art Hop a couple Art Hops ago. Were you there for that?
No.
Yes. So what have you heard on that? What's being done about that?
Listen, incidences are going to happen.
Right.
That's why we have to have the proper protocols. We have to have safety set up.
Do you think we didn't have that in place, or we did? Like what?
I'm not going to say that, because they may have thought they did. You don't know an emergency is going to happen until it happens.
It's really the truth.
so I'm not going to throw the rock at the glass house. You just never know. You never know when it's going to happen. So you just have to be prepared to deal with it when it does come. And I believe that's part of our safety. Fire, that's their job, is to make sure that gets done. And it's our job as the city to make sure that we ensure people of their safety. Yeah.
When you've talked to different people, because since you're so active in the community, what are people saying that they are doing to ensure more safety? Is there like any neighborhood watch groups? I really don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Neighborhood watch, it's a roller coaster as well. I've known my good friend Mary. She was in charge of neighborhood watch for a long time, and so she was very, very good at what she did. And so those are some of the things that we need to probably bring back. I wouldn't mind having a neighborhood watch downtown. Can you imagine you looking out, from your window at the top, and you look down and you go, yeah, let me make a call? It wouldn't be a terrible idea, but we need those ideas to come in to make sure that we're ensuring safety too. I don't, and you got to realize people come from other places to come to our art hops. It's not just all downtown folk. It's not just,
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the whole point.
They're from everywhere.
And that's what you guys wanted. We wanted things here that brought people everywhere. Yeah.
And we do. And you know, unfortunately, when we stopped Art Hop, some businesses closed. Because they were waiting for those, you know, and it was keeping people kind of rolling in and out.
It was keeping people afloat. You need that.
And we had fun. You know, it's a good time when you can just walk down the street and see different people, see different vendors, see different businesses. You know, you see people I saw people I hadn't saw in years. You know, and you see, and it's a great thing, and it brings the community together. And yes, safety is important, but bringing our community together is just as important in a safe and great way. So I can't wait.
How are the farmers markets doing?
Some are doing great. I went to one the other day. Where was I? Farmers market's been popping up everywhere. They're awesome. I love them. But you know what I do want to do, and I'm planning to do this soon, is I want to do one on California or Fresno Street, you know, or Chinatown. You know, Chinatown,
okay.
Right?
Well, there was one on Van Ness, so I didn't know if that was still popping.
So I was in LA, and I went to Chinatown. And was it Oakland Chinatown.
Oh, okay.
So they had the farmers market set up. They had bok choy and just all these rich things that you have a hard time finding sometimes in the grocery store or finding fresh enough.
That is what's great about having farmers markets.
Right? And so I went there. I said, oh my gosh. I said, why don't we have a Chinatown farmers market once a month?
That would be really cool.
It would. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to have some conversations.
I like that. That's a good idea.
I'm just saying, things that you can't normally find. And I said, this is beautiful. People just walking all around the place with their little bags, and it's not sky high to buy it, you know, and farmers actually getting ready to, you know, they're there to actually give you the great fruits of their hard work. Mm-hmm. And I love it. But most of our farmers markets do well.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
I'm glad. I've been wanting to hear in like about a couple of years. I remember it was pretty good. So I just didn't know how everything was still going. So you're very in tune in the community. Those are things you're going to bring kind of back or get a little bit more going then.
More grassroots stuff. You know, take it back to where it was when it was great. You know, we just need to do that, and that's important.
And then who's like coordinating a lot of the social events in the city? I interviewed people in the past that were doing it back in like 2020, 2021. I don't really even know who's in charge anymore of like the social events in Tower.
You know, they have a committee. And so
there's a committee, but there's usually one person that's.
I forget his name. I saw him the other day. It is Guy. They call him the mayor of Tower.
Hey, that's what they usually end up being. I asked you, so I was like, I actually don't even know who it is now because I was very in tune with one of them a few years back. But yeah.
Yeah, so I saw him the other day when we were at, it wasn't Porch Fest. There was something else. Car show. It was a car show downtown.
And that went well, huh?
Yeah, it was
people that were involved in that.
Oh my gosh. It was really nice. They had people, and it was literally somewhat like Porch Fest, but on a smaller level. So people at their homes, they had bands set up, and you know, I saw another home. They had nice. A whole like little family thing.
So what street was that on again? The car show?
That was on Olive.
I was on Olive. Okay.
Well, it was on Olive. It was 500 cars. It was on Olive.
That's impressive.
It was impressive. It was on with Sean. They just shut down the whole area.
That's a lot. 500's a lot.
Right? Yeah, I got to help my friend choose which one of the cars were. Yeah, Monty Farkas, he's running for District 1.
Are you guys friends?
So we are friends.
That's awesome.
He's such a sweet guy. And so anyway, I said, Monty, I said, there are 500 cars here. I said, I'm gonna help you a little bit.
Oh my God.
And so we took pictures with the cars and, you know, just kind of, you know, got in tune with everybody down there.
Are you guys helping each other with your guys' campaign?
I'm not going to say helping, but very supportive. Very supportive. Very supportive. And that's, you know, any of the good candidates, I'm always very supportive. I try to be the best me I can be all the time. And then sometimes you know, there's an angel and the little devil.
That's true. That's how it is. Yeah, so who is your support system that we would know, some people that are endorsing you?
Annalisa Perea is one, and she's so sweet. She's such a good person. We have the Women's Democratic Club. They're super supportive. I really don't want to name call because there is so many people in my camp that it has just been awesome. My good friend Elizabeth Jonathan Rosas, who is on the school board. My friend Casares, you know, everybody is just BWAPA, Black Women of Political Action. They've been very supportive.
And they all kind of said it was your time to do this. They were like, let's do this
they were
now.
like, well, no, that's not how it happened. Because they kept going, are you sure? Are you sure? And finally,
good friends to you.
and I was like, they were like, are you?
They care about your well-being.
It feels like that sometimes, but for the most part, I truly enjoy what I do, like down to my soul. I really do. I've enjoyed being a school board member, and I'm sure I will enjoy being a city councilwoman just as bad. But I woke up with the pit of my stomach burning one night because I said I was not going to run. And
a famous last words.
It was. A good friend told me weeks before that, one of our electeds, he said, never say that because you never know where God's going to take you. And I said, you're right. So I was quiet. And then the quiet storm hit the pit of my stomach and I said, nobody can do this job like me. And I got up out of bed and I started planning in my head, what are my next steps for tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day? And how are we going to get this done?
And what about your family?
Oh, my family, they're so awesome, beautiful and wonderful. My family's always supportive.
They were cool. They were like, oh gosh, here we go
again.
Oh my God.
Get on the roller coaster.
What made you run in the first place for school board?
I was a teacher. I was a vice principal. I was a teacher at Cooper. I was a teacher at McLean. I was a teacher at New Millennium. There's one more.
They were like, where haven't you taught it?
But I also got to teach college, college courses. And
where were you
Carter G. Woodson.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, being in that space, and actually I knew that I would be in something dealing with my community for a long time because I used to go and feed the homeless with my grandmother. We would go.
You were always active.
Yeah, we would go visit the convalescent homes and take food and comb hair, paint nails. I always knew, and I love kids, so I always knew I would be doing something, community driven. And so after Cal Johnson decided he was going to retire, I had a serious conversation with one of my mentors, and I said, it's my time. I want to do that. I want to make policy to make things better because, being one classroom teacher, you touch 30 kids. You being a junior high or high school, you touching 160 kids. Being a principal, you're touching 5,000, 2,000 kids, 2,500 kids on a big campus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at this level, I could touch 74,000 kids and create policies to help these kids. Be there for our employees when they have issues that they don't know how to navigate through, or something is not happening the way they think it should and they have somebody to bounce it off of. Students who may not be being advocated for in the right way, being able to take care of that work. So it has been, like I said, it's been a complete pleasure.
What are some of the things that you've done since you've been on the board?
Oh my goodness. We created policies for girls to have their toiletries at no cost, making sure our girls are taken care of. We've created policies to make sure we have anti-hate crimes. Anti-hate is no longer, we have an anti-hate space in our policies. We've created policies for superintendent to actually have some great goals. So now we have a student outcomes governance focus. We're no longer talking about things that we think ourselves, opinions are important. We're talking about student outcomes. How do we get our babies to be able to read and write the way they're supposed to be? And so our board meetings, if you've been checking them out, have completely been engaged about that. Where are our kids in testing? What are we doing right now? What does that look like? If we have none of that stuff on the agenda, we don't have a board meeting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And that's just to say the smallest part. Another thing that I created, this has been a dream of mine since I started this job, was to have a real pathway in Area 1, which is Edison Region. A real pathway, meaning not that we don't have pathways, because we have biomedicine, but where does that start? It doesn't start until you get to Edison Computech High School. Right? It doesn't start until then. So what that means is all those other little kids K through 8, they're not going down a path. You can't start biomedicine in K to 8. You know what I mean? So what we did was we're doing a public safety pathway. We're starting with police, where our kids are in the pivot program in elementary school. They go to Gaston for their next section, and then they go to Edison, and then they go to West Fresno Community College and finish off and become a police officer or a fireman or an EMT.
Wow.
I know, right?
That is really cool.
Like that is my heart. Like I worked so hard to see that finally come to fruition, and now my kids are in the pivot program, and we had our first meeting on Thursday of last week, like just with the police officers that are, I say teaching that program, because they were like, we're not teachers. No, we're not asking you to be teachers, but we are asking you to teach them what you know and show them the pathway to get there. What trouble can't you be in to still become a police officer? What does your credit score need to look like? How much do you make? How do I get there? You know,
those are questions I want to know. Wait, what does your credit score have to look like?
Yeah, my son is actually, he made me laugh the other day because, yeah, I got to be careful because I'm not adding anything else to my credit, because he just finished his last test at San Francisco PD. So he's like, worried about all these things. And so for years, I tried to get my son to look into becoming a police officer. And he was just like, no, that's not my thing. And then all of a sudden he comes back, he goes, I'm going to apply. I'm in my mind, I'm like, kid, we could have saved like 6 years.
That is hysterical. Wow.
Yeah. But, all around, I think that's one of the biggest places that holds near and dear to my heart, is being able to start that pivot program.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm just, you have no idea. But I also march with my kids, when they are having issues at school. I've marched with my kids having trouble with racism. I've marched with my kids having trouble with ICE. I try to be universal. All people matter. And that's my campaign, is to promise that all people matter to me.
Wow. Well, what year did you start on the school board?
2018, I was elected.
So how did you deal with COVID? What were some of the things that
Oh my gosh. Was that not the crazy? Let me tell you something though. And I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway, because it's just who I am. I love COVID for me. Okay.
Well, that's
I'm going to tell you why.
I've heard some positive stories, so I understand. I understand.
I loved it and I didn't like it. But as far as the school board, let's talk that first. It was very hard because you can no longer touch your babies. You don't know if they're safe. You don't know what kind of households. But we did make sure people had food. So we serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner where you can come pick up everything at one time.
That's important.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to make sure, and that was another policy that we did during Christmas and Thanksgiving. We serve food. We let families pick up their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and, at least you're not hungry. If you are, and if you just want to come pick up a couple extra meals, because it costs money to have kids at home. Remember the summer times? I was like, you guys are eating me out of house and home.
Especially during those growth spurts,
right? Especially the boys. So, to say the least, it was very difficult. It was very difficult making decisions that some people believed in and some people didn't.
I imagine there was a lot of that.
There was so much controversy, and I felt so awful, but I was like, we have to make the best decision. I have to make the decision that's going to keep my conscience clear, not that's going to make people sick. So now I loved parts of COVID because I was with my family a lot. My family, my daughter and her husband and my grandkids lived in Arizona, and my son went to Yuma College. And so he was in Arizona. And so my baby, he was 16, he was in high school. And so we were taking him out of school anyway. We got in a car and I prayed all the way there that nobody would pull me over and I wouldn't get in trouble for traveling when I wasn't supposed to be. But I had to get to my family. and we just really bonded, seriously bonded, cooked every night and, sat in the pool, had conversations, played games, did, things that were, read books. We just did really good things together. But unfortunately, I also lost my mom during COVID. My safe space, my best friend, and she adopted me into her family when I was born. She was my madrina. She was my godmother. And she adopted me into their family, her and my godfather, and they took care of me like I was one of their own. So losing my best friend was one of the downfalls of COVID, and other people and other friends, so that was the down part. And it was also very hard as a school board member to make those decisions. But knowing that I lost somebody, I had to take care of teachers, I had to take care of staff, I had to take care of our kids and make sure that they were safe, especially if they had underlying issues, asthma, heart problems. That was important to me, to make sure people were safe, more so than people yelling at me and cursing me and telling me I was the most awful school board member ever.
Oh, God. I can only imagine what came your way during that time, because that's when tensions were high. That's when the tensions were the highest. So.
You just don't know. The hate mail that we got was awful. But I think in the end, I think we made the right decision, and I think we brought our kids back when we were supposed to, because that was the way it was supposed to be. And I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad we did it together and survived.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. It seems like you've done so much, and you really do care about your community.
I do.
How do we vote for you? How do we support your campaign, if anyone wants to donate to you?
Oh, I would love for you all to support my campaign and donate. If you just go to my website, Keshia Thomas, 4D3. KESHIATHOMAS, and it'll pop up and you can donate. If you want to help out, you send me an email, and I am always pleased to have people make phone calls or walk precincts.
Is there any party or anywhere you're going to answer questions, anything coming up, any event like that in the near future that
I've been doing that. There's been a lot of forums.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of forums. What I can appreciate is people that actually call my phone and talk to me, which I love. And it's on my website as well, or on my mailers.
Okay.
And so we have to vote on June 2nd. So let's make sure we get out the vote and vote for KT for D3.
And then you guys can tell your people that your friends that do live in the districts, even if you guys don't, because we all know somebody that lives in the district.
We do. Ask a friend. Tell a friend. Yeah, and just know that I'm going to do my darn best, and I'm always going to be there, because what I think we've lacked from some of the candidates is actually being in your seat at your job when you're supposed to be,
for sure.
And for the others, I just think they're a little green. So, you want to make sure you get somebody in there that really understands the people and that is going to be there and be open and be receptive and answer phone calls. If I can't answer it, somebody else will. I have somebody there to help. So, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We wish you the best with your campaign.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome back, AJ.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm so excited about the things you're doing, because you're going to do some really big things for our community, which I'm sorry to start this off because you probably have things you want to talk about, but how are you going to lower our utility by 33%? I'd love to know this. Please tell me.
Wow, this is what you're going to start with? Okay. So let me tell you, PG&E last year had a net profit of $2.4 billion.
Right.
In the last 5 years, they had 100% increase in the rates. Okay. So PG&E, we have PG&E over here, and it goes all the way to Northern California. On average, in Fresno, we pay about 33% more for our electricity, kilowatt per hour, than the rest of California.
Why?
So we're one of the poorest cities, yet we pay more for our electricity more than San Francisco and San Jose.
How is that possible?
That is the question. So why do we pay 33% more? That's why we can lower by 33%. And we should start thinking of building our own power plant. So Jerry Dow was asked, when he was doing the budget last June, he said, why don't we build our own power plant? And his answer was, yeah, we discussed it, and it's too expensive. We should have done it 50 years ago. But you know what? 20 years from today, when somebody asks the same question, they'll say, oh, we should have done it 20 years ago, which is today.
That makes sense.
So today is the right time. And there are ways to do it. There are ways to do it without costing taxpayers to pay for it. It's called BOT, Build, Operate, Transfer. We shouldn't negotiate with PG&E. Anytime we want to expand today, we need to use a BOT. We have land, we have the customers, we can make a deal with a company. They build it, they invest the money. This is the build. They operate for 20 years. And in 20 years that they operate, we are partners. Mm-hmm. That's 50-50.
I get what you're saying.
We're partners. So we can save the taxpayers over here a lot of money on utilities.
But we don't know why we're paying 33% more than anywhere else.
No.
Nobody's given us an answer on that?
And then in 20 years, it will transfer to the city. So the city will own it in 20 years. Why we pay 33% more? That's a question to ask the city. They should make a big deal about it. Why do we pay 33% more?
Wow. No, that's really interesting. I mean, you're the first person to ever give that type of solution. So I like it. So since you've been here, you've been endorsed by Alan Autry?
Yes. So for me, because I'm running as independent, I refuse to have any political endorsement. And I approached Alan Autry and said, yes, he'll give me his endorsement because he's not a politician. He's independent today. He's former mayor of Fresno, and he's the most popular former mayor that we have in Fresno. So we align in our belief, and that's why I approached him and said yes.
So why don't you want to be endorsed by the politician?
Because I'm running against establishment. So, I mean, think of the establishment. My opponents are endorsed by the establishment. They're accused of no transparency. They're accused of bullying. They're accused of violating the Brown Law Act. They're accused of making things in Fresno political. They're accused of substance abuse. I mean, those are the people that are endorsing my opponent. And I'm saying my opponent are good people. I mean, but those are facts.
Right.
And for me, if I'm calling the city saying, hey, the direction we're going is not good. If you look at the last 5 years, when it comes to homelessness, when it comes to road and sidewalks, when it comes to utility, when it comes to the stray dog problem we have, when it comes to the education, if you look in the last 5 years, we are moving backward. And I'm saying those are solvable problems. So that's why I decided to run. For example, let's talk about the homeless. In the last 20 years, every elected official and every candidate said, housing first, housing first, housing first. Okay? If you look only at the last 5 years, the city spent in the last 5 years $500 million on housing first. And the outcome is very visible on the street today. We have 50% more homeless. We have the residents and the businesses are frustrated in the direction the city is going. So, and wisdom says, if you keep on doing something, if you keep on trying what you've been trying and expect to get different results, that's called insanity.
Right. No, there really is a lot of insanity going on. Everything's so expensive. Everything's still so expensive, and there's more homeless and crime.
Yes. So, you know, and I'm the president of Black Submersion Association. I founded in 2016 to help the community confront the crime, the homeless encampment.
You basically took something upon yourself. You policed your own chunk of area where you were a
As
city.
a private citizen, I never got paid, using my own time and resources helping. But I represent the homeless population as I represent the residents, and I represent the businesses. I represent everybody. And I have videos online because I interview people, residents, businesses, and the homeless population. And I asked a person, and I said, why you don't want to be housed? And he said, I wake up every morning, I need my drugs so I can function. And that's why over 95% of the homeless population refuse the housing. And that's why we have also 50% more homeless on the street, because the city only works for the symptoms, but they don't find the cause. The cause is, for example, I have people knock on the doors and they tell me, I may be homeless next month because my roommate left, I can't afford the rent, or because my hours were cut down at work, I cannot afford my rent. So we need to prevent people from becoming homeless. And what I suggest, the current shelters that we have, it should be used only to prevent people from becoming homeless. So if somebody, you lost your job, you were paying $300 a month on rent, you know what? You come over here for next 6 months, only pay $300 a rent, or you lost your roommate and you're only paying $300. Just come over here, pay $300 a month. You have 6 months to get back on your feet, find another job, find another roommate,
That'd be
and
very
move on.
helpful. I know a lot of people that would help a lot. If that could, you know what I mean? That some people just need that little bit of,
Yes, so we need to take care of the hard-working.
Well, we can't give the people
taxpayers.
that want the drug more in the house that house because, you know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying.
No, but basically, there are solutions.
Right.
Okay, what we've been doing has not been working, so we need to find different solutions. So we need to look at different cities that have solutions.
What are some of the cities that you...
Perfect. So Los Baños.
Okay.
Okay. Los Baños, in 2025, they took the homeless off the street. They put them in a safe zone. They provided the basic services for them. They provided... it's a low barrier, so anybody can come in. Anybody's welcome. But they provided the basic services for them. They provided medical treatment for them. And they put them in a safe environment.
Like the methadone?
Okay, so yeah, I will get to that. Okay. San Diego did the same thing. Downtown San Diego used to be a ghost town because we used to go there a lot. It was a ghost town, so they moved 1,500 homeless population from downtown to camps. And downtown is surviving now. You know, they're doing very good. Clearwater, Florida, because our son got married in Clearwater, Florida. I went there and looked and said, wow, there's no homeless people over here. And they did the same thing. They put them in a camp, low barrier camp. They gave them 3 meals a day. They gave them 3 meals a day. They gave them medical treatment that they need. They have AA there. They have NA there. NA is Narcotic Anonymous. They have a lot of nonprofit there, helping those people, direct them to get out of homelessness. But they provided job training for them. So basically what I'm saying is we need encampment for them, safe zone for them so they can have basic services. We need accountability. We need to help them with their addiction, and then housing. But housing is not first. Okay?
I agree with you.
Okay, so I want to give you an example. If somebody's on the street and trying to go from block to block, trying to find water, food, shelter, trying to get drugs for addiction, it could be alcohol too, not necessarily drugs. They're mentally ill because as you sit on the street, you have problems with mental problems, but also their health is deteriorating. Do you think this person has a chance to recover? Versus somebody in a structure zone with the proper services, with accountability. Okay, so yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was on Belmont, and a guy came and said, hey, Jay. So he was a homeless guy that I've helped a couple years ago. And he came to me, and we talked, and I videotaped him too, so it will be online soon. But basically, he said, look, when you're on the street, you have to be addicted to something to survive. He said, now that I'm in a shelter, I'm going to turning point, and I'm changing my life around. But he said, once you're on the street, you cannot think of getting rid of your addiction. Your health is deteriorating too. So we need to put, it's a humane thing to put them in a safe zone and take care of them. We do that to dogs. You see a dog on the street, you take them to shelter. I'm saying just treat those the homeless population as good as we treat the dogs.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Okay, so this is basically my main issue, because do you know the fire department says 50% of the fire in Fresno is caused by homeless population, nearly 50%. We have, from my experience, between 70 to 80% of people break into properties are homeless, the homeless population.
And you saw that firsthand, which is why you started what you started, the business merchant.
So my business, I was being broken in about an average of 10 times a month.
That's like unbelievable.
Okay, and so were all my neighbors.
Right.
So I have businesses that come and say, look, we have homeless encamped on our property. Can you help us clean it? Because the city is overwhelmed and they cannot help. So they call me, and I did that with the help of a code enforcer, which he's no longer working with me because I'm running. The city said he cannot talk to me.
Aww.
So we helped clean the area from the homeless encampment, and within 30 days, those people tell me the break into our property went down to zero, and our revenue went up 30, 40, 50% organically. Okay? So the reason we need to move the homeless population off the street from the city is because kids cannot walk safely to school.
Right.
Okay? Kids cannot go to certain parks because it's full of, not only the homeless, but because once you have a homeless population, you have gang members, you have pimps, surrounding the area too. So actually, there is a Fresno Municipal Code, Article 25, Section 9-2502. And it says, this is signed by City Council, written by the City Attorney, and approved by the Mayor. And basically it says, if you bring certain kind of people, to a new area like drug addict, and you house them in this new area, you are most definitely going to ruin that area, because it's going to bring an entourage of people to hang around that area. So the city knew exactly what was going to happen when they purchased on Blackstone and Dakota shelters within less than 1,000 feet from schools, 3 different schools. We had kids from Fort Miller were recruited to gangs.
Wow.
We have kids going to school, elementary kids going to school. They see needles there. They see people having sex in front of a school. That happened a lot.
Wow.
Okay, so that was irresponsible from the city to purchase right in the middle of the heart of Blackstone, the heart of Fresno, which is Blackstone, between the businesses, the residents, and the schools, put shelters there because they knew exactly what was going to happen to the area. So what I'm saying, we need to have safe zones. It needs to be at least 2,000 feet or more away from residents, away from businesses, away from schools, away from parks.
Right.
Okay, and that would take a lot of strain away from the police department, the fire department, and the health department. So it will take a lot of strain away, and once we do this, we're going to have more revenue increase. From my experience, businesses, when
firsthand because of what you did, yeah.
Exactly. And another thing, actually, before COVID, the highest income generator for the city was sales tax. Today, it's property tax. Why? Because we have 50% of the businesses that close today do not reopen. Why? Because no person will invest their money in a place that is not safe, has homeless encampment. They will not invest the money in a place where they have to convince customers to come to.
Right, that's very true.
They will only invest their money in a place that the customer is willing to go to. So we have a crack foundation called the homeless encampment that needs to be fixed first. We fix it, we will have safety and prosperity in Fresno.
So, if elected, how are you going to get everyone to jump on board with you? Because, like you said, the system is broken, and you're going to be working with all these people that are part of that. How are you going to infiltrate that and get them on board with what you're saying?
So we need 4 out of 7 council members, and what we have to do is it's really about people before politics. We have to put people before politics. We need to get the people involved. Okay. But all you need is 4. And all what we need to do is one person that's willing to speak up, and you'll get other council members that will, and pressure from the community, and you will have council members that will say, yes, let's change. I mean, remember, we are elected to serve the people. We are servant of the people. But that's not what we have in City Hall today. I mean, City Hall was accused of the Brown Act, violating the Brown Act, for example. City Hall was accused of certain people of not being transparent. We have people, all what they talk in City Hall talk about politics, national politics. When it comes to Fresno, it is not about national politics. It's about who's going to help you put money, put food on your table, making sure your kids can walk safely to school, making sure end of the month that you can pay your bills and your rent. Okay, that's what it is about, and that's what it should be about only.
For sure, that's what it should be about.
Yeah. So one more thing is work on is road and sidewalks. Okay, so we had Measure C for 40 years. And the city generated $2 billion from Measure C. City of Fresno, $2 billion. We have gas tax, that part of it goes for the road. And we have property tax, that part of it goes for the road. Okay? So 3.5 years ago, during the budget, Jerry Dyer said it cost $600 million to fix road and sidewalks. When we were doing the budget last June, the number was at $1.2 billion. Okay, today it's over $1.5 billion. So my question is, what happened to that money, $2 billion? $2 billion, the city generated $2 billion. What happened to that money?
What happened to it?
Yeah. And then what Jerry did, he got the bond. It's called Pay Now, Pay Later, $100 million to fix certain roads in Fresno. But what happened to that money? And who's going to be paying that Pay Now, Pay Later?
Who's going to pay it?
Taxpayers.
Okay. Why are some sides of towns getting fixed and not other sides of towns?
Yes. So this is a good question. It's, so let me tell you. We have roads in District 7 that haven't been touched or fixed or repaired for over 5 to 6 decades. 50 to 60 years haven't been touched.
Wow.
Okay, so when we got the $100 million, the money was divided equally between all 7 districts, and that's wrong. Northeast doesn't need work as much as District 7 does. So District 6 doesn't need the work that we have. District 2 doesn't need how much work we have. So the money shouldn't be divided equally. It should be divided based on how much every district needs work and repair. Yet the city doesn't categorize per district how much you need to repair. It's just as a city as a whole, which is wrong too.
Wow. There's so much that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah. I like to talk before we finish also about education. Okay, because this is what I believe in. So again, I'm a community advocate, never been in politics, didn't like the direction the city is going, and that's why I decided to run. So 2022, I saw the direction, our education in Fresno is below national average. So we have our kids in Fresno, 60% cannot read to grade level, and we have 70 to 75% cannot do math to grade level.
Right.
Okay, so that's why I also found my nonprofit called Success from Within. And last year we had a program at Delmar Elementary called Wind and Wave Program. So normally when you see a wave, a big wave, you say, wow, look at that big wave, but you don't realize the wind was behind that wave. Okay, so the WIN for us is a motivation program that we have for the kids, and then the WAVE is also we give them scholarship money. So we give 6 scholarship money per class. We give for the best in class in math, best in class in reading. Those are the top of the class.
Okay.
But then we give 4 on the bottom, which is the most improved in math, most improved in reading, most improved behavior, most improved attendance.
Well, that's really cool.
Okay, and last year we had certain classes improved in reading by 300%.
Wow,
and certain
that's
classes
impressive.
improved by 500% in math. And this is through the iReady score that the FUSD generates. It's not something I'm making up. It exists. Data exists. And the principal said many students last year improved by 3 class levels
In
because
1
of
year,
our
that's
program.
great.
Okay, so we repeated the program this year, and mid of June we'll get the results. And June 5th we have the graduation. And actually, if you'd like to attend, please let me know. I'll send you an
Oh,
invitation.
that sounds awesome. Okay. That's really impressive. So what are the age levels of these grades that are getting
So
these?
we're doing elementary. So we have from kindergarten to 6th grade. And we divide them into 2 sessions. The first session from kindergarten to 3rd grade, because the way you motivate them is different than when you motivate
Right,
the 4th, 5th,
for
and 6th
sure.
grade.
Yeah.
And every month we have at least 6 speakers. And the theme of the speaking is your success comes from within, doesn't come from your friends, doesn't come from your community, doesn't come from your teachers, comes from within. So you need to make that decision. And the only person you're competing with is yourself. Can you do better next month than what you did this month? And this is how we measure how we give the scholarship. It's you only competing with yourself. Are you doing better than what you did last month?
That's great.
And when we go, the kids are very happy when they see me. As a matter of fact, when I'm going knocking at doors, talking to the parents, and then the kids come out, say, Delmar, and they point at me. So I've met a lot of kids as I'm walking, and they tell the parents, hey, AJ, Delmar. So,
Oh my gosh, that's really cool. That's pretty cool. When did you start this again?
2022, I found it a success moment then. Because I think that's what America is. America is built on success from within. That's basically what I call it. It's you can become whoever you want to if you decide to become that person in the future. But the question is, are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to work on it? And I think really the secret of success in America is 3 things. It's family values. You need to have family support, education, and hard work. Are you willing to pay the price is what I call it. And anybody can achieve anything they want in America if they're willing to pay that price. And that's why I think we live in the greatest country in the whole world, because you can be whoever you want to.
No, that's amazing. I love all the things that you've done. It's really great that you've actually put into practice everything you're talking about, that you started that with the businesses, you started that with the education, and nobody else has really done anything quite that impressive and locally that I can think of.
Yeah, so, I came to the U.S. in 1985. I didn't speak English at that time, so I had to learn it. I didn't speak Spanish, so now I'm fluent in Spanish too.
Oh, wow.
But by 1994, within 9 years being in the United States, I got involved in a nonprofit. And I always got involved with at-risk kids organizations, so I always did that. I'm the past president of Big Brothers Big Sisters in Central Valley over here. And like I said, I founded the Black Submersion Association, but I'm also now on the board of PAL, the Police Activity League, which working with at-risk kids too. So it's after-school activities for the kids to keep them on the street. So basically, when kids go home, if there's nobody at home, they're going down to the street, they will belong to that family. So what we have through PAL is we mentor those kids, and we have after-school activities for them, and that's really doing very good. Making a big difference, by the way, and the success rate is, I think, over 94%, that once people are part of the program, they never get into trouble. So that's the activity program, and then I have the success from within, where we work with academic with them too.
And then what do your kids think of all this?
Both our kids, actually, since they were kids, I told them both, you're going to get your master's degree. And we spent a lot of time with them, education, education, education. So when they got both of them, there's 2 years different, they got the bachelor's degree, said, we're done. I said, no, we have an agreement, you're going to get your master's degree. They didn't like it, but we had an agreement, so they both got the master's degree. And Mark is living now in Florida. He got married. He's a computer engineer, software engineer. And Alex, he's in finance. He just got promoted to vice president of the bank, and he's only 28 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did our job with the kids. We built a good foundation. And so again, through PAL and through Succession Within, all what we're trying to do is build a good foundation. A tree cannot flourish, cannot have flowers in it, cannot have fruits unless you build the roots on the bottom first. And this is what we're doing, building the roots.
Oh, this is so amazing. So what can we do if we want to support and back up your campaign?
Okay. So again, I'm independent. I'm looking for volunteers. Obviously, I'm looking for donations. But really, I'm looking for spreading the word. If you want change, stop voting for the establishment and vote for change. So you can find me on my website, for FresnoCityCouncil.com, or social media, for FresnoCityCouncil.com too. And my phone number is always listed on my website, and I'd say it over here. It's 559-222-1818. I always give my phone number since 1994. Every time on the media, I give my number out too.
It's got to be a different number since 1994, though.
Yes, the number changed, but actually the 222-1818 was my business number, but because it's a very easy number, so I made it my number.
Oh, I love that. No, that is really awesome. So we can get behind it on that. Where is the district again, to tell everybody where it's at?
It's, the easiest thing is if you take the 41 south from Dakota to the 180 and the 180 east all the way. So this is the heart of
okay,
the
that's
district.
a good way of remembering it.
Yeah.
So everybody should know somebody that's in that area. And it's just sad that we have to kind of vote by district, even if your business is in the district, but you live somewhere else or whatever. Because, I mean, we're all, like you said, we all have to go on Blackstone. We're all part of the district, even though we don't live there.
Yeah.
And we all have to go there.
So hopefully, please vote. If you want change, stop voting for the establishment. Vote for somebody who has experience, knowledge, has proven results. Because
that's the biggest thing, is you rock the walk. I mean, a lot of people just say things, and you can show things.
And let me ask you this question. Think of your 25-year-old self, okay? Do you think your 25-year-old self could make better decision than what you can make today?
No. If anybody says yes, that's...
Do you think your 25-year-old self has more wisdom than you have today?
No.
Have more knowledge, have more experience than you have today? No. So vote for somebody with the knowledge, with the experience, with a proven result. And if you want change, you're not happy with the situation, stop voting for the same people. Stop voting for the establishment.
Well, we definitely need somebody like you on city council. That would be really awesome. Then I'd start going to all the city council meetings. Thank you so much for coming on my show. And everybody vote for AJ.
Felt right in the morning, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't want to be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.